Out of county. Out of county. All right. Ma'am, can you go ahead and state your name?
It's Alexia. Did you hear it? Yeah, just give it a second. Okay.
All right, ma'am, you have an out-of-county warrant from Volusia. Your bond in that case was set at no bond, and it's going to be stayed at that.
Okay.
I'm trying to double-check something here.
I think. Hold on 1 second.
Oh, sorry, a second copy was attached, so I was trying to figure out if you had one or two. Good news
Okay.
is it's one.
Okay,
All right, take care.
thank you.
Could you please state your name for the record?
Anthony Galloway.
All right, what's your full name?
Anthony Tristan Maurice Galloway.
All right, so you've been charged with grand theft in the third degree motor vehicle. Your bond was initially set at $1,000. I believe, was this the one that was reset from yesterday?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. State?
Yes, Your Honor. I did reach out to the arresting officer, and I was given some more information regarding the case. They were able to make contact with the victim. I don't have a sworn affidavit to give to the court. So at this point, we would have no objection to ROR on the grand theft charge, since he already has a bond on the driving as a habitual traffic offender charge.
Defense?
No objection.
Very well. ROR on the grand theft. Good luck to you, sir. They ha- Good afternoon, sir. What's your name?
Andrew Masali, ma'am.
What's your first name?
Andrew.
Andrew. Okay. All right, so Mr. Maselli, you've been charged with soliciting without a permit. Your bond was set at $500. I understand that you've reached an agreement with the state. Defense, do you wish to announce that?
Yes, Your Honor. I misspoke earlier. This is the one withhold that we do have, withhold of adjudication, credit for time served, and court costs.
Sir, how do you plead?
No contest. No contest.
No contest, ma'am.
Very well. Is this the offer you want to accept?
Do you want to take this offer?
No, I don't.
Do you want to take this offer today? The credit for time served, do you want to take it?
Yeah.
Tell her yes.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
Very well. Go ahead and do that, and we'll reduce the court costs to a civil judgment.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Good luck to you, sir.
I got me a case number.
They'll give you one. Did you get the text for one?
Good afternoon, sir. Could you state your name for the record?
Yes, ma'am. William Daniel Brown.
All right, Mr. Brown, you've been charged with alcoholic beverage open container violation. Your bond was set at $250. I understand you've reached an agreement with the state.
Your Honor, it's an adjudication of guilt, credit for time served, and court costs.
Sir, how do you plead?
No contest, ma'am.
Is that what you'd like to do today? Take this offer?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, court will go ahead and reduce the court costs to a civil judgment. Good luck to you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Good afternoon, sir. Could you state your name for the record?
Scott Allen Daniluk.
Sir, you've been charged with disorderly conduct. Your bond was set at $250. I understand you've reached an agreement with the state. Defense, could you announce that?
Adjudication of guilt, credit for time served, court costs, no return to the scene, Your Honor.
Sir, is that the offer you wish to accept?
Yes.
Court will go ahead, and how do you plead?
No contest.
Very well. Court will reduce the, sorry, ran out of water. Court will go ahead and reduce the court cost to a civil judgment. Good luck to you, sir.
Clerk, do you need that address?
No, we just marked do not return to scene of event.
Okay, perfect.
Good afternoon, sir. What is your name?
Good afternoon, Peter Ellenberg.
Sir, you've been
ELL.
charged with disorderly conduct. Your bond was set at $250. I understand you've reached an agreement with the state. Defense, do you wish to announce that?
Adjudication of guilt, credit for time served, court costs and no return, Your Honor.
Sir, do you accept that offer?
No contender, your office.
Sir, do you accept that offer?
Yes.
And how do you plead?
No contender.
Very well. Good luck, sir. Court will reduce the civil judgment, the court cost to a civil judgment.
What does that mean?
Thank you, Your Honor. Have a nice afternoon.
You too, sir. Take care. Bonded, fine, right here. Sir, what's your name?
Travis Hawkins, ma'am.
Mr. Hawkins, you've been charged with disorderly conduct. Your bond was set at $250. I understand you've reached an agreement with the state. Defense, could you announce the terms of that agreement?
Adjudication of guilt, credit for time served, court costs and no return, Your Honor.
Very well. Sir, do you want to accept that offer?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will go ahead and do that. How do you plead?
No contest, ma'am.
Court will go ahead and reduce court costs to a civil judgment. Take care, sir. Sir, what's your name?
Dennis Hoover.
So I understand that in 2022 MO 942, you've been charged with disorderly conduct, and your bond has been set at $250. I also understand that he is currently out on bond, actually ROR, in case 2022 CF 527.
Yes, Your Honor, the defense would ask for no action to be taken on the possession of cocaine, as this is a non-violent panhandling offense.
State,
No objection to that.
so he'll remain ROR on the other case?
Is he gonna take the offer?
Yes.
Yeah, that's fine. That's
Okay.
that's not an issue.
I just want to make sure that everybody knew what they were doing. That's part of my job description.
Thank you. I'm sorry,
That's okay. All right. As the court, with the state's approval, will take no action on the bond ROR in 2022 CF 527. Court will accept the offer in the other case. Did you put that on the record?
I did not. Adjudication of guilt, credit for time served, court costs and no return.
Sir, is that what you want to do today?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and how do you plead?
No contest.
Very well. Good luck to you, sir. Court will reduce the court costs to a civil judgment. Sir, can you go ahead and state your name for the record?
Jerome Mills.
All right, Mr. Mills, in your new case, 2022 MO 943, you've been charged with disorderly conduct and your bond has been set at $250. I understand there is another disorderly conduct case, case 2022 MO 761, that you are currently ROR'd on. State, what do you want me to do on the July 2022 disorderly conduct?
That's a city ordinance violation as well. I am not the ASA assigned, and the city attorney handles that. So we would just ask that you give him a reasonable bond on that charge.
Your Honor, we'd ask for no action to be taken. They're both panhandling charges. So any amount that would be set would be outside of his financial means. He is willing to take the plea to the case here today. I'm not sure what happened with the other one, why there wasn't an offer that was given.
Okay. Sir, how do you plead with respect to the new case?
No contest.
Okay, and do you want, and have you announced the offer?
I have not. Adjudication of guilt, credit for time served, court costs and no return.
And the court costs will be reduced to a civil judgment. Is that what you want to do?
ma'am.
All right. Take care, sir. And the court will take no action on the the other July disorderly conduct case.
Matthew Nelson's medical, Your Honor.
Your Honor, we'd ask to reset that case.
Very well, be reset till tomorrow. Sir, what is your name?
Toby Roll.
Sir, you've been charged with disorderly conduct. Your bond was set in the amount of $250. I understand that there's an offer from the state.
Yes, Your Honor, adjudication of guilt, credit for time served, court costs, and no return.
Sir, do you want to accept that offer?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And how do you plead?
No contest.
Court will go ahead and accept that, and your court costs will be reduced to a civil judgment. Good luck to you, sir.
Okay, thank you. You got.
I believe that that concludes today's docket. Is there anything we have to go back and catch up on?
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor, not from us.
Anything from PTR? Anything from clerks? All right, you guys are fabulous to work with. Thank you, everyone. Good afternoon. This is Judge Rodriguez as our Creole interpreter on the line.
Yes, I am. My name is Jolene, and I'll be doing the interpreting today.
All right, at this time, I'm going to ask our clerk to swear you in as our interpreter for this case.
Do you solemnly swear to translate from Creole to English, from English to Creole to the best of your ability?
Yes.
Thank you. Please state your name.
Jolene, ID number 357086.
Thank you. At this time, you can commence the translation. We are here for initial appearances.
Nous venons là pour présenter à Anishal.
It is my responsibility to advise you of what you've been charged with and determine if there's an appropriate bond that needs to be set or terms of release.
C'est responsabilité moi pour moi faut connaître qui ça qui est chargé avec et puis c'est qu'il on sorte de bande cap à passer avec vous pour capable laguer.
Because you are currently incarcerated, I'm going to appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you for purposes of today's hearing.
À cause de moment ça là où on bat la loi, n'a présenté avec Public Defender pour capable représenter ou pour cas jeudi pour apparence jeudi.
And that is the attorney that is standing next to you at the podium.
C'est avocat ça qui capable bon côté ou pour avec ou na podium.
Counsel, can you announce yourself for the record? Please allow time for translation.
Dominique Cunningham for the record.
I did not quite hear that.
Dominique Cunningham for the record.
No, c'est Dominique Cunningham.
Counsel for the state.
Tressie Tyner for the state of Florida.
Chelsea Tyner pour State of Florida.
Sir, could you please state your name for the record?
Monsieur, répétez non.
Despines Jean Ego.
Répétez encore.
Despines Jean Ego.
Destiny Jean Eagle.
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, what is your first name?
Monsieur qui premier nom.
Jean Ego.
Jean Eagle.
And your last name?
Despines.
Estiantiu.
Despines.
Despines.
Sir, you've been charged with battery, domestic violence. Based on the nature of the charge, your bond was set at no bond.
OK. Monsieur, je t'ai chargé ou avec batterie, domestic violence, à cause de casa ou pas bon.
There is a witness that wishes to be heard this morning.
Gon moun qui était témoin qui t'a voulu parler matin.
At this time, I'm going to ask Madam Clerk to swear in the witness and for the translator to translate for the witness as well.
Non moment sa la mande moun ki te témoin pour li capable vin sémenter et puis pour traduire pour interpréter traduire pour témoin.
Can you raise your right hand, please?
Est-ce qu'on est capable de lever main droite, s'il vous plaît?
Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you're about to give should be the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
Est-ce qu'on sémente que testimony ça qu'on parle ba là c'est vérité et toute vérité devant bon Dieu?
Oui.
Yes.
Please state your name for the record.
S'il vous plaît, répétez non.
Marie-Linda Apollyon.
Mary Linda Apollyon.
Thank you.
Ma'am, it is my responsibility to inform you that everything that happens in our courtroom is being recorded.
Madame, c'est responsabilité moi pour moi informer que tout ça qui passe dans salle jugement à TP.
It would be very easy for the state attorney's office or law enforcement to obtain a copy of whatever you say today.
La facile, réellement facile pour état là avec département jugement capable de joindre copie des informations qu'on dit jodi.
Okay.
Those statements could then be used against you in any open or pending criminal cases.
Et puis statement ça qu'on est capable utiliser contre vous de aucun jugement l'état qui t'a pas ouvert ou bien qui t'a pending.
It is my understanding from reviewing the arrest affidavit in this case that you may be a potential defendant.
Et c'est me comprendre bien après me fin réviser document document yo que ou c'est un monde qui t'a défendre.
Therefore, you are not required to say anything today or answer any question that you don't want to answer.
Ça veut dire ou pas vle ou pas obligé répondre aucun ou bien dire aucun bagage que ou pas senti ou ta vle répondre.
Understand today is not the trial.
Comprendre jodi a c'est pas tribunal là.
The court's not going to determine what happened that day.
La loi chambre la loi pas parle de prendre décision de ça qui t'est passé.
The court's only going to determine whether or not there's an appropriate bond or terms of release that can be set.
So dans moment ça là ça la décision n'a pas simplement c'est pour connaître un bon cap placé ou bien en façon de laguer cap fait pour aujourd'hui.
Counsel for the state, do you have any questions for the witness?
Yes.
Est-ce que counsel pour État il y a une question pour témoin?
What is your relationship to the defendant?
Quelle relation gagne avec un défendant là?
C'est Marie.
My husband.
Are you afraid of your husband?
Est-ce qu'on peut marier ou?
Non.
Are you seeking contact with your husband?
Est-ce que vous voulez toujours en contact avec Marie ou?
Oui, parce que c'est un bon papa, c'est un bon mari. C'est la première fois qu'il fait ça.
Yes, he's a great father, a great husband. This is the first time this happened.
Do you live with your husband, is that correct?
Yes.
Est-ce qu'on habite avec Marie, c'est ça?
Oui.
And would you like for him to return home?
Oui, I need this.
Est-ce que vous voulez pour retourner la caille?
Oui, je voulais pour le tourner la caille. Il manque un pile.
No further questions from the
Merci
state.
mi lot.
Defense, do you have any questions?
Yes, Your Honor.
Pas de aucune autre question avec État encore. Défense là, est-ce que vous avez une question?
Would it be a hardship for you if he were not able to return home?
Est-ce qu'elle t'a on sort des problèmes pour celle pas capable de retourner la caille?
Oui, là, un problème pour moi parce que il manque moi, c'est tout pour moi petit mon yo. Et première fois elle fait ça, me voulais ballon chance, me voulais changer I need to change no contact order to no hostile contact order. I need my husband at home.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Okay. The part that she said in Creole was that yes, it would be a hardship for us. The kids, he missed being home, he missed me, and then the rest was said in English.
Thank you. PTR, I understand that the respondent qualifies.
Please repeat that one more time.
Pretrial release, I understand that the defendant qualifies.
Pre-trial la guerre, moi comprendre que défendant la comprendre.
Court will go ahead and set bond in the amount of $100 with pretrial release.
Okay. OK. La jugement a mette ban nan pour $100 devant pré-jugement.
Okay.
The court will further order no hostile contact between the parties.
OK. Et puis, court la demandé no hostile contact là pour placer.
I'm sorry,
De
defendant shall.
pour
Oh,
les
sorry.
I'm sorry. I didn't say the two parties part.
That's okay, I thought you were
Les
done.
deux moun yo.
The defendant shall have no hostile contact with the alleged victim or anyone else in the home.
What is this?
La ap gen definite la ap gen no hostile contact avec victim nan et puis avec ki n'importe l'autre moun ki nan maison an.
The defendant will not possess any firearms or weapons.
Definite la pa dwe gen aucun sort de zam.
The defendant shall not consume any alcohol or illegal substances or prescriptions that don't have his name on them.
Definite la pa dwe gen aucun sort de alcool, drogue ou prescription ki pa gen non sou li.
Pretrial release, is there anything I missed?
Est-ce que gwo aucun bagay mwen perdi nan pretrial la gen?
Their response was no, Madam Interpreter.
OK, réponse la c'était non.
State or defense?
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
Sir, understand that you are under a court order to have no hostile contact with anyone in your home.
Since when?
Monsieur connaît bien ou en bas ordre de jugement que ou gen non hostile contact avec aucun moun nan maison.
That means there's to be no yelling, no shouting, no pushing, no hitting.
Sure.
Ça veut dire ou pas cap relé sou moun nan, ou pas cap jouer moun nan, ou pas cap pousser moun nan, ou pas cap frapper moun nan, ou pas cap ba moun nan coup.
You may not threaten anyone with your words or your actions.
Ou pas ka traiter moun nan avec mot qui parole qui sorti nan bouche ou ou bien action qu'on fait.
If someone does something that frustrates you or irritates you at home, you need to remove yourself from the situation.
Si on moun ta fait un bagay qui t'a fort fâché, qui t'a entré en sentiment ou même ou besoin quitter, retirer tête ou dans position, quitter place là.
Is that clear?
Yes, that's clear.
Est-ce qu'on clair de ça?
Bonne chance.
Thank you.
Bonne chance.
Ok. Merci. That's okay?
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Madam Interpreter. Have a good day.
Thank you for using our services. You as well. Have a great day.
All right, it's now my understanding that we're going to continue with our interpreter cases and move on to our Spanish cases. While you get the interpreter on the line. Be right back. Go for it.
Good morning, this is Dalia Romero, Spanish interpreter on the line. Good morning. The judge stepped out for a few minutes, but she asked that I get you on the line. Okay, not a problem. Just give us a few minutes. Perfect, thank you. All rise.
You just do that so you get a stretch break. I know. Thank you. Dahlia, you there?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right.
Good afternoon again.
Thank you so much for doing that so that I could get those kids out of here.
Not a problem.
All right. All right, Dahlia, we've got 6.
Okay, I got the names already, Your Honor, from the list that the jail sent out.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
All right. Sir, could you go ahead and state your name for the record?
Luis Ramón Velasco Parejo.
Luis Ramon Velasco Parejo.
All right, sir, you're here for an initial appearance. I have appointed the attorney next to you to represent you for purposes of today's hearing. You are charged with 2 counts: aggravated assault with a firearm, domestic violence, and carrying a concealed firearm. Based on the nature of the charges, your bond was set at no bond as to both cases. Counsel for the state or defense, do you wish to be heard?
Your Honor, we just asked for a reasonable bond to be set in this case.
PTR, it's my understanding he does not qualify. State, I thought you were gonna say something, so I was giving you a little bit of time.
Oh, I was waiting on the part. My apologies. Yes, if a bond is set, we would just be asking that there be no contact with the victims, separate residences, one-time return, no alcohol or drugs, as well as no weapons, firearms, or ammunition.
Based on the arrest affidavit and the allegations of the, related to the firearm and the domestic violence elements alleged, the court's gonna go ahead and set bond as to count one at $5,000 and count two at $500. There'll be no contact with the alleged victim or the children. May go one time with law enforcement to retrieve personal items. Do not consume any alcohol or illegal substances or prescriptions that do not have your name on them. Counsel for the state, is there anything else?
We would just be asking for no weapons, firearms, or ammunition. I know that law enforcement
I
did.
think I said no firearms, but I'll also say ammunitions and weapons.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Anything else?
No, that's all.
Anything further from defense?
Your Honor.
Luck to you, sir. No contact, and he could go one time with law enforcement to retrieve his personal items. Thank you. You want to maintain separate residences, you can do that too, it's all the same. Whatever makes your form happy. All right. Ma'am, could you please state your name for the record?
Carmen Cardenas.
Ma'am, you're here for an initial appearance. The attorney next to you has been appointed to represent you for purposes of today's hearing. It's my understanding that you've been charged with child abuse. Your bond was set at $1,000. And a second charge of battery, your bond was set at $100. It's my understanding that the defendant does not qualify for PTR. Is that correct? Bond will remain as previously set. Best of luck to you. Mario Maldonado. Sir, could you state your name for the record?
Mario Cruz Maldonado.
Sir, you're here for initial appearances. I've appointed the attorney next to you to represent you for purposes of today's hearing. You've been charged with aggravated battery causing bodily harm or disability. Your bond was set at no bond. You are also charged with homicide or other felony committed that could cause death. Your bond was set at no bond.
Your Honor. I believe he was charged with attempted homicide. I checked on the clerk site, because there was no probable cause for that charge. And then on the clerk site, it states attempted.
State?
I'm double checking the reference number. Sometimes on the affidavits it prints out funny, but we would not argue with that it should be attempted. It should be attempted, not homicide. As the statute is charged, it is 782.05.1, Section 2, and that is attempted felony murder. So we would be asking that the defendant be held on no bond.
Bond will be stayed at no bond for both counts. Good luck to you, sir. Guadalupe. Good afternoon, sir. Could you please state your name for the record?
Ernesto Guadalupe Limón Cortés.
Ernesto Guadalupe Limón Cortés.
Sir, you've been charged with DUI. Your bond was set at $750. It's my understanding he does not qualify for PTR. Bond will remain as previously set. Good luck to you, sir.
Your Honor, could you just read that bond amount, please?
$750. Good afternoon, sir. Could you state your name for the record?
Andrés Reyes.
Andres Reyes.
Sir, you've been charged with petty theft retail. Your bond was set at $500. It's my understanding he does not qualify for PTR.
Sí, señora.
Yes, ma'am.
Bond will be set at $250 with a requirement that he not return to the scene of the alleged incident. Good luck to you, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Good afternoon, sir. Could you state your name for the record?
Buenas tardes, mi nombre es Steven Reyes Sotelo.
Good afternoon. My name is Estivier Reyes Sotelo.
Sir, I understand that you've been charged with petty theft retail. Your bond was set at $500. Court will go ahead and reduce that to $250 with the requirement that you not return to the scene of the alleged incident. Good luck to you, sir.
Bueno, gracias.
Thank you.
Does that conclude our Spanish cases? Thank you, Madam Interpreter. That's it.
You're welcome, Your Honor. Have a good afternoon.
Thank you, you too.
Thank you.
Afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. Could you state your name for the record?
Jeff Fuller.
All right, Mr. Fuller, I understand that you are here in case number 2021 CF 15543 where you were charged with grand theft of a third degree of a motor vehicle, and you failed to appear at a court date, and so the court in that case issued a warrant or capias for your arrest and set your bond at no bond, and it will remain so until you talk to your regular judge. Good luck to you, sir.
Hold on.
The attorney next to you has been appointed to represent you. It's very important we protect your rights.
I'd like to say a few things.
Sir, I don't think that's in your best interest today because everything's being recorded.
On my own reconnaissance.
I understand, but your
the
case wasn't
entire thing.
You need-
It was resolved.
It's not resolved. You need to speak to your son, or defender. They'll be in touch with you. I'll let them know that you're in here.
Good luck to you, Mr. Fuller.
The entire thing, it was resolved. Maybe you should learn how to.
And driver? Could you please state your name for the record?
Penny, driver.
All right, Ms. Driver, you're here on an out-of-county warrant from Lake County in case number 2022 MM4079. In that case, your judge set your bond at no bond, and it will remain so. Good luck to you.
Ma'am, they say
I've appointed the attorney next to you to represent you for purposes of today's hearing. It is not in your best interest to do so, ma'am.
Also can't do anything with your case here 'cause- So go that way.
Jamel Brumfield. Thank you.
Your Honor, may I have one moment?
May?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Your Honor, the state.
Why don't we have him say his name on the record real quick?
I apologize.
That's okay. What's your name, sir?
Jamel Bromfield.
Thank you, Mr. Brumfield. Counsel for defense?
Your Honor, the state did extend an offer to Mr. Brumfield of a withhold of adjudication, credit for time served, court costs, and no return to the Starbucks located at 1530 East Colonial Drive. Will the court be willing to take that?
State, is that your offer?
Yes, that's the offer.
Very well, court will accept that. Sir, how do you plead?
No contest. No contest. No contest.
No contest.
All right. And do you accept the offer?
Yeah.
Very well. It will be as announced. Good luck to you, sir. You have 1 year to pay court costs.
Okay.
Yes. Good afternoon, sir. Can you state your name for the record?
I have to keep my mask on.
You need to follow the directions of the corrections officers.
Joseph
Nothing changes in here.
Alexander Watson III.
Thank you, sir.
Your Honor, may I have a moment?
You may.
The state's offered you adjudication, meaning it's gonna go on the record, but not as a conviction. No, this is a misdemeanor. It's gonna go on your record. It's gonna be credit for tax, court costs, and no return to this Walmart. Is that something you wanna take? Okay, so I just need you to sign right here. She'll give you the pen back. Right here.
I'm very sorry, I would like to say.
You're fine.
I think it was overkill.
Sir, it would be best if you just talk to your attorney, okay?
Your Honor, if I may?
Yes?
The state of Florida has extended an offer to Mr. Joseph. It's a withhold of adjudication, credit for time served, court costs, and no return to the Walmart located at 10500 West Colonial Drive. Would the court be willing to take that at this time?
Is that correct, State?
That is correct, and I just want to say, for the record, the next ASA might not be so nice. So this, the next attorney in my position might not be so kind. So overkill or not, if you end up here, the next person might not be so nice again. You're welcome.
All right, sir, how do you plea?
Guilty. No contest. I'm sorry, no contest.
Okay. Do you accept the offer?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any questions about the offer? All right, did your attorney answer all of your questions to your satisfaction?
She explained everything.
Very well, court will go ahead and accept it. Good luck to you, sir. You have 1 year to pay court costs. How many days credit for time served does he receive?
I think it may be 3.
You should have 3 days, Your Honor, so I'd stipulate to 3 days.
Very
Yes.
well. Good luck to you.
How much are the court costs?
It was adjudication withheld. Wasn't it adjudication withheld?
Yes, it's a withhold of adjudication, Your Honor. He's inquiring as to the amount of the court costs.
I do not know that amount. $273, sir.
Just
They'll go over that paperwork with you, and you can also ask some questions of your attorney later. Good luck to you, sir.
Your Honor, may I have a moment?
May?
Is that all of the move-ups? Who is this?
He's in county ordinances.
I lost mine.
Ready to proceed, Your Honor.
All right, sir, could you please state your name for the record?
Earl James Tullis.
Thank you, Mr. Tullis.
Your Honor, if I may?
Yes, he's been charged with disorderly conduct.
Yes, Your Honor, the state of Florida has extended an offer, an adjudication of guilt, credit for time served, court cost, and no return to the scene. Would the court be willing to take that at this time?
State confirm?
That is offered.
Very well, it will be accepted. Sir, how do you plead?
No contest.
Very well. Madam Clerk, any clarifying questions?
Your Honor? We would ask for the fees to be reduced to a civil judgment. He was picked up for panhandling.
No objection.
Defense, can you repeat the offer back one more time?
It was an AG, credit for time served, court cost, no return.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so for the remainder of the cases, I just want to make clear that we're here for initial appearances. I will be announcing what the individuals have been charged with. I have reviewed all of the affidavits. I do find probable cause. However, counsel for defense, please let me know if there's anything you want to discuss. I am going to go ahead and appoint you to represent everyone who's here today because they're still incarcerated. Anything else we need to go over regarding basic instructions? All right, first one is Sandra King. Good afternoon, ma'am. Could you state your name for the record?
Yes, Sandra King.
Your Honor, I'm sorry, may I have 1 moment? My computer is
Sure.
messing up and I can't.
That's okay. There are gremlins everywhere.
Your Honor, I apologize. I'm just going to need a minute. Ready to proceed, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. King, I have 2 new cases for you and 1 prior case. The first case, you are charged with stalking domestic violence. Your bond was set at no bond based on the nature of those charges.
Your Honor,
This,
I apologize. May I be heard as to probable cause?
can I just finish announcing them and then we'll go back?
That's fine, Your Honor.
Okay. The second was assault domestic violence. Your bond was set at no bond. And the third was resisting an officer without violence. Your bond was set at $150. My understanding is that's case number 2022 MM5681. There is a second case. Case number 2022 CF9761. In count 1, you were charged with fleeing and eluding a law enforcement officer in a high-speed pursuit. And in the second, reckless driving, based on the nature of those charges, your bond was set at no bond. It's also my understanding that you have a ongoing case with reckless display of a firearm in case number 2021 MM7402, and that you were out on bond in that case. Counsel for defense, which case do you want to be heard on?
Your Honor, I'd like to be heard on the case involving the stalking, assault, and the resisting without violence.
Okay.
Your Honor, the defense takes the position that there's no probable cause for the stalking charge. The elements that the state would need to show is that there was a willful, malicious, and repeated conduct of following harassment or cyber stalking. This is just one incident, so it doesn't arise to the level of stalking.
State?
Yes, sorry, Your Honor, I'm just skimming over the beginning of this. The state would ask for 24 hours to establish probable cause on the stalking charge, for any additional information. And as to the remaining charges, based on that affidavit, there were incidences that did rise to the level of assault and resisting. So, as to the stalking, we would like 24 hours, and as to the other, we would contend that there is enough to charge her based on the affidavit.
Anything else from the defense?
Your Honor, if this court is going to grant 24 hours.
shouldn't need
Hold
no
on.
bond.
Ma'am, Ms. King, Ms. King,
'Cause I
Ms.
can't
King.
do anything.
Ms. King, if you
I didn't do
continue to interrupt the court, I will find that you are
didn't do
effectively
anything. I
removing
shouldn't be
yourself
here.
from the
I
courtroom.
shouldn't be here.
You are removed at this time, ma'am. You have effectively voluntarily decided that you cannot participate in these proceedings. All right, counsel.
I apologize. Your Honor, if the court is going to be granting the state's request for 24 hours, we ask for a bond to be set so that she'd be able to bond out. If that
She's
is-
going to be no bond on the other case anyway,
On the other case.
on the violation, the
Oh,
2021 MM7402.
Your Honor, we'd ask for the court to take no action on that case. It happened in 2021, and then she went into pretrial diversion, and she was rejected, and that case has not been put back on the docket.
Because she was placed on pretrial diversion, there would be a waiver of speedy trial. I do know that pretrial diversion is backed up, especially as it pertains to domestic cases. We would be asking that she be held on that pretrial release so that she can speak with the judge in that case, and that judge can determine what bond, if any, would be reasonable.
And Your Honor, if I may respond? Your Honor, I'm not arguing for anything that relates to speedy trial. I'm discussing her release. And I do know that pretrial diversion is backed up, but they have sent a letter of revoking pretrial diversion that happened this month. And so it does take a while for that case to be put back onto the docket. For that reason, we would ask for no action to be taken as far as her being out on that case, because no action has been taken to further the case.
Did she complete pretrial diversion in that case?
No, so what happens when you go into pretrial diversion, it's a process. You'll be offered pretrial diversion from the state, and then they will send you over to it. For whatever reason, she was rejected. I don't know why. The state usually gets a letter, but the defense doesn't. There could be multiple reasons. Once they are rejected, that case will go back onto the docket for a pretrial conference date, but that has not happened yet.
Can I have the case number for her pretrial?
It's 2021 MM 7402. And so, Your Honor, based off the fact that there's no furtherance in this case, we'd ask for no action to be taken.
As of August 8th, this has been sent to, notice of pretrial rejection has been sent to the clerk so that it can be placed back on the docket. I believe that she was not approved due to, we have here that she was not approved due to the facts of the case because there was a firearm involved. And they were in contact with defense regarding possible mental health issues.
And Your Honor, that is my understanding as well. As far as the rejection coming through on the 8th, it is the 21st, and we still do not have a court date for that case.
It's also been brought to my attention that there's a fourth case, case number 2022 CF 9748. And in that, she's charged with criminal mischief, and bond was set at 100. A second count of criminal mischief, bond was set at 100. A fleeing and attempted to elude law enforcement with lights and sirens, bond was set at no bond, and resisting an officer without violence, and bond was set at $100. That incident occurred on August 20th.
Your Honor, is that a
I thought it was the same thing.
or a
It's
third case?
Well, 4 cases including the misdemeanor one that she was out on
Okay.
pretrial release on.
Yes, Your Honor.
Or on pretrial diversion. So I have a total of 4 cases.
Yes, Your Honor.
Is that what you have, State?
I have the affidavit, the add-on that I have is just the first 3 charges for stalking, assault, and resisting. And then I have the arrest warrant and the arrest affidavit. I do not have paperwork on the other cases.
Okay, so as to 22 MM 5681, that's the one with the stalking. Court's going to give the state 24 hours to go ahead and establish probable cause on that. In case number 2022 CF 9761, let me confirm one thing.
Your Honor, is that the reckless and the fleeing?
Well, she has 2 of those. She has 2 fleeing.
Yes, but the case number that you just read off, is that one for the reckless driving plus fleeing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the 22 CF 9761. I was just trying to confirm the elements that made it 2 separate events. As to the fleeing and eluding law enforcement at a high rate of speed, bond's gonna be set at $10,000. As to reckless driving, it'll be set at 100. With respect to 22 CF 9748, for the 2 counts of criminal mischief, bond will remain set at $100. As to count 3, fleeing and eluding, it'll be set at $10,000, and as to count 4, it will remain at $100. In all of her cases, she will have the additional requirement that she does not possess any firearms or weapons. Yeah, that's why I said the first 2 counts. Yeah, they're stated at 100. And then as to the pretrial diversion, part of her contract in that case is that she doesn't pick up new charges. And so I understand she was rejected from it, but she still has an obligation not to pick up new charges. And so the court's going to revoke that release at this time, and she can work that out with her regular judge.
Yes, Your Honor.
Christian Davidson, could you go ahead and state your name for the record?
Yes, ma'am. You said state my name for the record?
Yes, please.
Christian Davidson?
Thank you, Mr. Davidson. You've been charged with false imprisonment, domestic violence, and battery domestic violence.
That's correct.
It is, in both cases, your bond was set at no bond based on the nature of the charges. Does he
no
qualify
bond?
for PTR? It's my understanding you do not qualify for PTR. Court's gonna go ahead and set bond at state you wish to be heard?
Yes, I just wanted to bring it to the court's attention that there is an extensive domestic violence history of arrest against this victim, as well as some Baker Act history. While there are no prior convictions, the affidavit indicated that there have been at least 3 calls just within the past, I believe it was a couple of days, regarding this defendant and the alleged victim. So since the victim's not here at this time, we would be asking for a no contact, no return, separate residences, along with any other conditions the court may apply, not imply.
All right, bond will be set at $1,000 as to count 1 and $100 as to count 2, with the no contact requirement. Do not possess any firearms, weapons, or ammunition. You may go back to the residence one time with law enforcement to retrieve your things. You may not possess or consume any illegal substances, alcohol, or prescriptions without your name on it. If you take any type of medication for mental health, you must take all of your prescribed medication. Good luck to you, sir. Donato Mayfield? Sir, could you go ahead and state your name?
Donato Mayfield.
All right, Mr. Mayfield, you've been charged with battery, domestic violence battery by strangulation. Based on the nature of the charge, your bond was set at no bond. You were also charged with battery, domestic violence, and based on that charge, it was also set at no bond. Counsel for the state, do you wish to be heard?
No, Your Honor. We would just ask that the bond be set at the higher end of the bond schedule, given the allegations in the affidavit, as well as the fact that the defendant was allegedly about to fly back to Philadelphia.
Your Honor, may I be heard?
You may.
Your Honor, we'd ask for a bond on count 1, RO on count 2. This is one incident, so those charges should have been merged.
The strangulation and the hitting would be considered separate incidences. It's the state's position that the strangulation is a separate charge because it does have separate and more inclusive elements for the specific strangulation charge.
And Your Honor, although it is true that there are different elements, this was one continuous incident. So I believe the battery would be consumed by the battery strangulation.
As to count one, bond's going to be set at $7,500. And as to count two, it'll be set at $100. There'll be no contact with the alleged victim. You may return one time with law enforcement to retrieve your things. You may not leave the jurisdiction of this court. You may not possess any firearms, ammunitions, or weapons. You may not consume any alcohol, illegal substances, or prescriptions without your name on it. If you are taking mental health medication, you need to continue to take your medication as prescribed. Anything else from the state?
No, thank you, Your Honor.
Mr. Camacho? All right, sir, if you'll go ahead and state your name for the record.
Right, Ms. Camacho.
All right, sir, you've been charged with battery, domestic violence. Based on the nature of the charges, your bond was set at no bond. It's my understanding that he does qualify for PTR. There is a witness that wishes to be heard. At this time, we'll go ahead and swear in the witness.
Can you raise your right hand, please? Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you're about to give should be the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
I swear.
Thank you. Please state your name for the record.
Yolani Castillo.
All right, ma'am, what would you like us to know?
This is not the first time that he has done this. It's the first time I'm speaking out about it. I am afraid for him to return home, and so are my children. And we would like a no contact order.
I'm so sorry, I can't hear you right now.
We would like a no contact order for me and the 5 children, and for him not to return to the home until I can find another place to go.
The state's going to ask you a few questions.
The state has everything we need. Given that the victim would like no,
Should I give defense the opportunity?
yes.
Defense, do you have any questions?
No, Your Honor.
All right, yes, state.
Given that the victim is requesting no contact and no return, we would ask that the court honor those wishes, as well as a no weapons, firearms, ammunition, and a surrender if he does have any of those weapons, as well as PTR.
And Your Honor, may I be heard?
Yes.
We'd ask for the no return not to be on there, but for the condition to be maintained separate residences. The victim did state that she doesn't want him there until she finds another place, so it appears she's going to be looking for somewhere else to go. If that's the case, he should be able to return if she ever does decide to leave. So if we could maintain separate residences, and then a one-time return with law enforcement.
No objection to that.
Very well. All right, court's going to go ahead and order PTR and set bond, and then a monetary bond in the amount of $250. There'll be a no contact order with the victim and the children.
Your Honor, are the children listed victims?
The twin babies were being held by each of the parties when the event occurred.
I'm not sure that we can do a no contact order unless they're listed victims.
I'm going to go ahead and put no contact as to the children as well.
Yes, Your Honor.
That can be modified by his regular judge. He can return one time to the residence with law enforcement to retrieve his personal belongings. I will go ahead and order that they maintain separate residences. He's not to possess any firearms or weapons or ammunition. He's not to consume any illegal substances, alcohol, or prescriptions that do not have his name on it. Anything else we need to go over?
We would just be asking for a 24-hour surrender of any weapons that he does own.
Sir, if you have any firearms, you have 24 hours to surrender, obtain the receipt from the sheriff's office, and file that with PTR. Good luck to you, sir. Good luck to you, ma'am. Thank you for being here. Corbin? Good morning, or good afternoon. Could you state your name for the record?
Caitlin Corbin.
Right. It is my understanding that you've been charged with battery, domestic violence. Based on the nature of the charges, your bond was set at no bond. I understand that there is a witness that wishes to be heard. At this time, we're going to go ahead and swear you in, sir.
Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you're about to give should be the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Please state your name for the record.
Michael Coleman.
You can put your hand up.
Sir, what would you like us to know?
I would like the charges to be dropped. Honestly, y'all list me as a victim of domestic violence. I am not a victim. I never even called the police. So the situation is a big misunderstanding. We had an argument that pretty much ended to where we needed to air out. While we was airing out, the hotel staff that where we was pretty much called the police and escalated to something bigger than what it is.
I'm going to allow the state attorney to ask you some questions.
Yes, good morning. What is your relationship with Miss Corbin?
That's my fiance.
And you two live together?
Yes.
Are you afraid of her?
No.
Are you seeking contact with her?
Yes, I'm trying to see. Yes.
Okay, and then you indicated that you were at a hotel. Do you reside in Orange County?
No, we're visiting from Indiana.
Okay, so you both live together in Indiana?
Yes.
Okay. No further questions from the state at this time.
Defense?
And from the defense, Your Honor.
State, you wish to be heard?
Yes, Your Honor. Given the testimony of the victim, we would just be asking for no hostile contact, and we would advise everyone in the court that it is imperative, since they are from out of state, that they stay in contact with the state attorney's office regarding these charges. Someone should be in contact with you regarding your wish to continue prosecution or not. So
How someone? Because I'm really.
I can't drop the charges today. The decision whether to actually file charges has not been made yet. So
Would she at least get bond?
someone will be in touch with you about continuing the case, and if you wish to do that, you can tell them what you've told me today. And as far as bond goes, that's up to the judge. But we would just be asking for no hostile contact.
Very well. Court will go ahead and order PTR and set bond at $100 with a no hostile contact requirement. Do not own or possess any firearms, ammunition, or weapons. If you have any with you at this time, you need to turn those in to the Orange County Sheriff's Office within 24 hours and get a receipt for that and provide it to
Can I ask one
PTR.
more thing?
No consumption of any alcohol, illegal substances, or prescriptions without your name on it while you're on pretrial release. Anything further from the defense?
No, but I think the victim may have had a question. He raised his hand.
Okay, understand, sir, that today is initial appearances. Today is not the trial.
Right.
Okay, so no one can resolve everything for you today.
Right.
Because even if you choose not to prosecute, there were witnesses who offered testimony to law enforcement in the affidavit, and they, based on that, may choose to prosecute. So I can't do anything to drop the case. No one can drop the case today, despite your wishes.
But I can't pay the bond.
Is there anything else that you want to know?
Will I be able to pay the bond today after you just said the amount?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank
Okay, anything else?
you. No, ma'am.
All right, take care, sir. Take care, ma'am. Davis?
No, just, you're able to go now. You can have contact with no hostile.
Take care. Sir, could you state your name for the record?
Devontae Davis.
All right, sir, you've been charged with battery, domestic violence. Based on the nature of the charge, your bond was set at no bond. It's my understanding that he qualifies for pretrial release. State, is there anything I need to know?
No, Your Honor. Nothing from the state.
PTR, did you receive any contact from the alleged victim? Bond will be set at, bond will be set in the amount of, $100 plus PTR. You may not return to, well, I'll put maintain separate residences. You may not have any contact with the alleged victim. You may not possess any firearms, ammunitions, or weapons. You may not consume any illegal substances or prescriptions that do not have your name on it.
Okay.
If you have any firearms, you need to turn those into the Orange County Sheriff's Office and get a receipt within 24 hours. And you need to give that receipt to pretrial release. State, is there anything else we need to go over?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Defense?
No, Your Honor.
Very well. Take care, sir.
Two.
De La Rosa? Sir, could you state your name for the record?
James De La Rosa.
All right, sir, you've been charged with battery, domestic violence. It's my understanding that you do not qualify for the appointment of a public defender, but since you're still incarcerated, the court will ask them as an officer of the court to represent you for purposes of today's hearing. It's my understanding that the defendant qualifies for pretrial release. Has there been any contact with the alleged victim? All right, court will go ahead and set bond at $100 with PTR requirement. Do not possess any firearms or weapons or ammunition. You have 24 hours to turn those in to Orange County Sheriff's Office, get a receipt, and give that to PTR. You may not have any contact with the alleged victim. If you have personal items at the alleged victim's residence or a former shared residence, you can go one time with law enforcement to retrieve those items. Counsel for the state, is there anything else?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Defense?
No, Your Honor.
Norberto Diaz? Sir, could you please state your name for the record?
My name is Norberto Diaz.
All right, sir, you've been charged with battery, dating violence based on the nature of the charges. Your bond was set at no bond. It's my understanding he does not qualify for PTR. Has there been any contact with the alleged victim? I'm sorry, go ahead. Court's gonna go ahead and set bond in the amount of $500. Plus, do not possess any firearms, ammunitions, or weapons. Do not consume any alcohol, illegal substances, or prescriptions that don't have your name on them. There'll be no contact with the alleged victim. If you have any personal items at the alleged victim's residence or a former shared residence, you may go one time with law enforcement to retrieve your things.
Your
Counsel
Honor.
for the state, anything else?
Is that with PTR? No, he
He
doesn't.
didn't qualify for PTR.
Thank you. No, nothing further, Your Honor.
Sir, can you go ahead and state your name for the record?
Wow, you.
All right, sir, you've been charged with battery, domestic violence based on the nature of the charges. Your bond was set at no bond. It is my understanding that he does qualify for PTR. Has there been any contact with the alleged victim? It is my understanding that the respondent lives in New Jersey. Is that correct?
Me? Me?
You don't need to answer that, sir. Court's gonna go ahead and set bond in the amount of $250 with the requirement to do PTR. You may not own or possess any firearms or weapons. If you have those with you, you need to turn those into the Orange County Sheriff's Office within 24 hours and get a receipt for that and show it to PTR, give it to them. You may not have any contact whatsoever with the alleged victim. You must maintain a separate residence from the alleged victim. You cannot possess or consume any alcohol, illegal substances, or prescriptions without your name on them while you're on PTR. Good luck to you, sir. Mr. Lamb? Good afternoon, sir. Could you state your name for the record?
Is Benjamin Love.
Thank you, Mr. Lamb. Have you recently changed your
My-
name?
Yes, my name is Benjamin Love.
All right. I understand you've been charged with battery, domestic violence. Based on the nature of those charges, your bond was set at no bond. I understand there is a witness that wishes to be heard. At this time, we're going to go ahead and swear you in.
You raise your right hand, please. Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you're about to give should be the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
I do.
Please state your name for the record.
Shauna Weaver.
All right, ma'am, what would you like us to know?
This is not the first report I've made. I did do both my reports in his previous name, Matthew Lamb, and his current legal name, Benjamin Love, when I did file this report yesterday. I'm not sure why it was filed under Matthew Lamb because his new legal name is Benjamin Love, but he does have a history under his Matthew Lamb name, so that's why I gave both.
I'm sorry, I couldn't understand what you said after history. So if you could,
I
I know it's really hard because these are tough circumstances, but I need you to speak a little bit slower just so I can understand you.
Okay, I'm sorry. I gave the officers both names yesterday, as I do know there was a recent assault charge under Matthew Lamb as well, and the court did still go through with that, even though he did have a new legal name change. As far as me today in this charge, I do fear my life against him, and I do fear the life of my animal against him, and I wish to have no contact or him to be able to return to our residence here in Orlando.
Counsel for the state, do you have any questions for the witness?
Yes, just briefly, what type of animal is it?
It's my dog.
Okay. Given that, I would ask for a no return to be placed, just so that if he's found on the property or in the yard, that covers it, as well.
Do you have any other questions for the witness?
No.
Defense, do you have any questions for the witness?
I do not, Your Honor.
Anything else, state?
Yes, what was his name changed to?
Benjamin M. Love, according to the arrest affidavit.
Okay.
PTR, did you look up, did you qualify him based on both names or just one name? Okay. Okay. The arrest affidavit mentions the other name as well. Could you run us through to make sure he still qualifies? So you have information under both names?
Your Honor, if I may?
Yes.
We would ask for him to be placed on PTR with a monetary bond because PTR did represent that they ran his fingerprints. When they were able to do that when running his fingerprints, if he didn't qualify, I believe that would have popped up.
Thank you. All right, court will go ahead and set bond in the amount of $150 with the PTR requirement. Sir, you can have no contact with the alleged victim. You may not return to the former shared residence or where the alleged victim resides. You can go one time with law enforcement to obtain any personal items. You may not possess any firearms, ammunition, or weapons. If you have any, you need to turn those in within the next 24 hours to the Orange County Sheriff's Office and produce that receipt to PTR. You may not possess or consume any illegal substances, alcohol, or prescriptions without your name on them. Anything further from the state or the defense?
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor. Thank you for being here.
Take care, sir. Take care, ma'am. All right, ma'am, could you go ahead and state your name for the record?
Trinette Maria Perez.
All right, Ms. Perez, you've been charged with battery, domestic violence. Based on the nature of the charges, your bond was set at no bond. It's my understanding that you qualify for PTR. Has there been any contact from the alleged victim? All right, court's gonna go ahead and set bond in the amount of $100 plus PTR. Ma'am, you may not own or possess any firearms or weapons. If you own any, you have to turn those in within the next 24 hours and get a receipt from the Orange County Sheriff's Office and give that to PTR. You may not have any contact whatsoever with the alleged victim. If you share a residence with the alleged victim, you can go one time with law enforcement to retrieve your things. While you're on pretrial release, you cannot possess or consume any illegal substances, alcohol, or prescriptions that don't have your name on them. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
This is yours.
Sir, can you go ahead and state your name?
Michael Shellman.
Mr. Shellman, it's my understanding that you've been charged with battery, domestic violence. Based on the nature of the charges, your bond was set at no bond, and also criminal mischief. In that count, your bond was set at $500. It is my understanding that he does not qualify for PTR. Court will go ahead and set bond in the amount of $250 as to count one and reduce count two to $100. The court will require that while he is out on bond, he may not own or possess any firearms or weapons or ammunition. Is there something else? Battery, domestic violence, $250. And reduced to $100 as to count two. The no possess firearms, no contact with the alleged victim. You may not go to her residence. If you have personal items at the residence, you can go one time with law enforcement to retrieve those things. You may not consume any alcohol, illegal substances, or prescriptions that don't have your name on it. Counsel for the state, is there anything I've missed as to that case?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
It's also my understanding that you are currently out on bond in case 2020 CF 7906.
On that case?
May.
Your Honor, we'd ask for the court to take no action. This case hasn't been filed on yet. It's a drug case and FDLE is backed up. The state of Florida does not make filing decisions on drug cases until they get FDLE reports back.
It's 2022, my apologies. 2022 CF 7906.
Yes, Your Honor, that's what I have.
I think I announced 2020.
Oh.
State?
I'm checking. Yeah, he was arrested at the beginning of July on that, so no objection to taking no action on that case.
Very well. Good luck to you, sir. On the bond one, yeah. Would you please state your name for the record?
Javid Walwin.
All right, sir, you've been charged with battery. Your bond was domestic violence based on the nature of the charges. Your bond was set at no bond. I see that there is a witness that wishes to be heard. At this time, we're going to go ahead and swear in the witness. I will advise everyone that it's my understanding that the defendant qualifies for pretrial release.
Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you're about to give should be the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Please state your name for the record.
Esther Lindsay.
Could you say that again?
Esther Lindsay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
What would you like us to know?
We live together, and I am going to move out, but I don't want no contact with him until I can find some place to go. That's about it.
State?
Yes, just for the record, what's your relationship with the defendant?
He's my boyfriend.
And you're seeking no contact?
Till I find some place to go, yeah.
Okay, and then are you afraid of him?
Only when he get mad.
That would be a yes. So I'm done. No
I
more
couldn't hear
questions.
her answer.
She said only when he gets violent. So no further questions from the state.
Ma'am, the place that you live in, is it in your name or his name?
It's in his name, pending probate.
Okay. Pending probate as far as,
He inherited the home, but it's in probate matter, so he's the representative of the property, but it's not official until it's fully out of probate.
okay, so it is his home.
Yeah.
How long is it going to take you to move from the property?
Maybe about 6 months. I started to look, but I don't know. It's about getting approved, finding a place. I have my children too. I have a son that goes to school, so it's about relocating and finding a school. So it's a process, and it's not cheap to find someplace right now.
Okay, Your Honor, may I have one moment? We can proceed, Your Honor.
Anything I need to know?
No, Your Honor, just argument.
Okay.
Your Honor, we'd ask for the condition to be to maintain separate residence. I understand that she lives there and she's going to need time to remove herself from the home. It is his home and he does have other avenues for through other court systems in order to remove her from the home. Because that is an option for him, we would ask for the condition to be to maintain separate residences so that if he does do that avenue for her to be removed from the home, then there is no issue there.
That's agreeable to the state.
All right, court will go ahead and set bond in the amount of $150 plus PTR. Do not possess or own any firearms, weapons, or ammunition. If you have any, you have to turn those in to the Orange County Sheriff's Office within 24 hours, get a receipt, and turn that into PTR. You are to have no contact with the alleged victim. You are to maintain separate residences. You may go one time with law enforcement to retrieve your personal belongings. While you are on pretrial release, you cannot possess or consume any alcohol, illegal substances, or prescriptions that don't have your name on them. Anything further from the state?
No, Your Honor.
Anything further from defense?
No, Your Honor.
Best of luck to you, sir. Good luck to you, ma'am.
Thank you for being here.
You're welcome.
Sandra Weeks. Good afternoon, ma'am. Could you please state your name for the record?
Sandra Weeks.
All right, Ms. Weeks, it's my understanding that you've been charged with battery, domestic violence. Based on the nature of those charges, your bond was set at no bond. It is my understanding that she does qualify for pretrial release. Based on that, the court's going to go ahead and set bond in the amount of $100 plus pretrial release. While you're on pretrial release, ma'am, you can have no contact with the alleged victim. You must maintain separate residences. To the extent that you have personal items at your former shared premises, you can go one time with law enforcement to retrieve those. You cannot own or possess any firearms, weapons, or ammunition. If you have any, you have 24 hours to turn those in to the Orange County Sheriff's Office and provide that receipt to PTR. You may not possess, consume any alcohol, illegal substances, or prescriptions that don't have your name on them while you're on pretrial release. Anything further from the state or the defense?
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Very well. Eddie White, take care, ma'am. Sir, could you please state your name for the record?
Eddie White, ma'am.
All right, Mr. White, you've been charged with battery, domestic violence. Based on the nature of those charges, your bond was set at no bond. It is my understanding that there is a witness that wishes to be heard. It is further my understanding that the defendant does not qualify for PTR.
Can you raise your right hand, please? Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you're about to give should be the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
I do.
Please state your name for the record.
Samantha Tapsy.
Thank you. And what was your response to the oath, ma'am?
I do.
I'm sorry, we can't hear you.
I'm sorry, I do.
Thank you. What would you like us to know?
This has been a big mistake and a misunderstanding. He is a very good man. There has been ongoing arguments around infidelity in the relationship, and subsequently, I misread a lot of the communication, and we need him home. We have 7 kids. They need their papa home. They need someone to say grace. They need someone to read bedtime stories. He's a good worker. He's a hard worker. And he's a good man. He's had a good career. He has a potential good career coming up. He's going to Nashville. He's going singing, and we're ready to roll. We need him home. It's been a big mistake on my part. I have been under a lot of pressure from a financial standpoint, from family standpoint, and the things that were said were misconstrued, and some of it was from my parents' side coerced to say, and I need my fiance home. My husband. I need him home. I want him home, and I am so sorry for everything that has happened. And I know that personally we are
This time, I'm
seeking.
going to allow the state to ask you some questions.
Yes,
Yes, good morning. Are you afraid of your husband?
no, ma'am.
Has anything like this ever happened in the past?
No, ma'am.
And were your children present at the time of this incident?
She was in her room. She actually didn't hear us arguing because we weren't very loud. It's when the cop showed up is when she came out.
So you said you had 7 children. There was only 1 child in the home during the
We have 7 together. He has 4 of his own. I have 3. 2 lives with his ex-wife, and the other 2 we are trying to bring them home. 2 little babies. We're trying to bring them home.
So were you the 911 caller in this incident?
I called and hung up. I called twice and hung up, and then they showed up.
Okay. Has anything like this ever happened in the past?
I have called. I have called because I have misconstrued a lot of his. Like I said, it's been an ongoing argument between us on infidelity in the relationship, and I did not. With everything going on, I was completely wrong. I did not see it for the truth of what it was, and I was wrong.
The state has no further questions at this time.
Ma'am, does Mr. White help provide financially?
Yes, he does.
Would it be a hardship if you were not able to return to the home?
Yes, it would be.
No further questions, Your Honor.
The state would like to bring it to the court's attention that there is an extensive history of domestic violence convictions for this individual. There is a pattern and a history, as well as he is out on state probation. While I can appreciate the statements made by the victim today, it's the state's request that there will be a no contact and for them to maintain separate residences. There were there was evidence based on the affidavit that a struggle had taken place in the home and that the home was left in disarray. That with the presence of children would mean that the state's asking for a no contact.
Madam Judge, can I please address those items that she's mentioned?
Ma'am, I'm sorry. You've had the opportunity to testify. This is not the trial. This is a determination of bond.
That's all.
State defense?
Your Honor, I'm looking at the face sheet that was provided to me by pretrial release. It states that the defendant doesn't have any prior domestic violence cases with this current victim. There are multiple children that they both help each other provide for. The victim has stated that it would be a financial hardship for her if you were not able to return to the home. So for that reason, we would ask for it to be a no hostile contact. And we can reiterate what no hostile contact means in this situation. And additionally, Your Honor, the state brought to the court's attention his history of domestic violence. The last conviction was in May of 2020. So it's been a little over 2 years since he was last convicted of something.
Based on the totality of the information that's available to the court and based on the credibility of the witness's testimony, the court's going to go ahead and demeanor. The court's going to go ahead and set bond in the amount of $500. I am going to put a no contact order in place. If the allegations in the affidavit are remotely true, I am concerned about the safety and well-being of the children based on the allegations of the acts of violence. I also don't really know what a misunderstanding someone can have about their hair being grabbed. You don't ever do anything.
It's missing
Deserve
information.
or earn someone being physically violent towards you. You may not own or possess any firearms or weapons while you are on bond. You may not consume any illegal substances, alcohol, or prescriptions that don't have your name on them. You can go back to the residence one time with law enforcement to retrieve your items. Ma'am, if you have any confusion regarding what constitutes domestic violence, I would encourage you to contact Harbor House and talk to them about ways that you can keep you and your children safe, because that is ultimately your biggest responsibility, to keep them safe. And the impact of allegations like this on children's lifelong development are critical for you to be aware of. Good luck to both of you. State, was there something you wanted to add?
Yes, I see that he is on probation through 2023. I'm not sure if that's it says Hardy, is that a county in?
Hardy County, Florida, yes. I don't have that information, though.
I just wanted to make sure it was out of county and not an Orange County issue. Thank you, Your Honor.
Good luck to both of you. Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Could you go ahead and state your name for the record?
Fred Williams.
All right, sir, you've been charged with battery, domestic violence. Based on the nature of the charges, your bond was set at no bond. It is my understanding that he does qualify for pretrial release. There is a witness that wishes to be heard. At this time, we're going to go ahead and swear you in.
Can you raise your right hand, please? Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, so help you God? Do you solemnly swear?
I swear.
Okay. Can you state your name for the record, please? Can you state your name for the record?
Carolina Salas.
Thank you.
Ma'am, what would you like us to know?
My English is not 100% good, but I'm going to try.
What is your primary language?
Spanish. The situation is, can I continue?
I think at this point, we probably have to get the language line.
That's fine. No objection. We're gonna call someone to help us with the translation.
I'm gonna use this opportunity because how long is it gonna take you? A couple minutes? That's what I'm worried. I'll be right back. Court's gonna take a 2-minute recess while we go ahead and get them. I'm gonna bring the witness back in. All right. Is the interpreter on the line?
Yes, I am.
Wonderful. Could you go ahead and state your name, please?
My name is Ismael.
Is that do you have a name that we can put in the court records?
Yes, ID number 248386, Spanish interpreter with Language Line Solutions.
Thank you. At this time, the clerk's going to go ahead and swear you in.
Of course.
Do you solemnly swear to translate from Spanish to English, from English to Spanish to the best of your ability?
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. We're going to go ahead and swear in the witness again. Sorry.
Can you raise your right hand, please? Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
Buenos días. En esta ocasión voy a ser su intérprete. ¿Usted jura o afirma que el testimonio que usted está a punto de proporcionar será la verdad completa y que Dios le ayude?
Lo juro.
I swear.
Please state your name for the record.
Carolina
Por favor, declare
Salas.
su...
Please state your name for the record.
Por favor, declare su nombre para el registro.
Carolina Salas.
Carolina Salas.
Thank you, ma'am. What would you like us to know?
Gracias, señora. ¿Y qué es lo que a usted le gustaría que nosotros supiéramos?
Quisiera tener protección por parte de Fred para mí y para mi familia, ya que ayer me demostró que él tiene mucha rabia hacia mi familia y hacia mí, y de la manera agresiva que se comportó hacia mí, intentando pegarme 2 veces y...
Ma'am, please allow time for translation.
I want to get protection from Fred for me and my family. I mean, yesterday he showed me the anger that he has towards me and my family, the way he behaved. I'm sorry?
Go ahead.
The way he behaved aggressively towards me when he tried to hit me 2 times.
At this time, I'm going to ask the state attorney if they have any questions for you.
En esta ocasión le voy a preguntar al abogado por parte del Estado si tienen alguna pregunta para usted.
Yes, just briefly. Are you afraid of Mr. Williams?
Yes.
And do you reside with Mr. Williams?
¿Y usted vive con el señor Williams?
Sí.
Okay.
Yes.
And you are seeking no contact at this time, is that correct?
¿Y usted está buscando obtener una orden de no contacto en esta ocasión? ¿Es correcto?
Correcto.
That is correct.
State has no further questions.
El Estado no tiene más preguntas.
Ma'am, do you or Mr. Williams own the home?
Señora, ¿usted o el señor Williams son propietarios de la casa?
No, renta.
We rent.
Is your name on the leasing agreement?
¿Y su nombre de usted está en el acuerdo de la renta?
Solo mi nombre.
Only my name.
No further questions, Your Honor.
No más preguntas, señoría.
State, is there anything you need me to know?
Para la abogada del Estado, ¿alguna cosa que usted necesite que yo sepa?
No, while there's no convictions for domestic violence, there are a couple of arrests for domestic violence battery, as well as an arrest for kidnapping, and some other non-domestic battery charges, as well as aggravated battery on a pregnant person arrest. We would just ask that the court honor the victim's wishes for no contact in separate residences and take into.
State, we do need to allow time for translation.
Sorry.
No, señoría, simplemente que no hay condenas de lo que es violencia doméstica. Sí, hay un par de lo que viene siendo de golpear o de pegar. También hay algún arresto por secuestro, y también lo que viene siendo el golpear de manera agresiva, pero nada relacionado a la violencia doméstica. Al tribunal le pedimos que, si es tan amable, señoría, otorgar la orden de no contacto y vivir en viviendas por separado.
That's all.
Eso es todo.
Is it my understanding, PTR, that the defendant has an active domestic violence injunction against him from another victim?
Y es mi entendimiento, se le pregunta a PPR por las siglas en inglés, que el acusado, de hecho, tiene un caso de violencia doméstica. ¿Hay una orden en cuanto a otra víctima?
Defense?
Your Honor, we'd ask for a reasonable bond plus PTR to be set in this case.
Su señoría, pedimos una fianza razonable, así como PTR, que sea fijado en cuanto a este caso.
Court's going to go ahead and set bond in the amount of $150 plus
El
PTR.
tribunal va a fijar la fianza en la cantidad de $150 más PPR.
As a condition of PTR, the defendant shall have no contact with the alleged victim.
Como condición de PTR, el acusado tendrá no contacto con la víctima.
The defendant may go one time with law enforcement to retrieve any personal property he has at the residence.
El acusado tendrá la oportunidad de presentarse una sola ocasión junto con oficiales en cumplimiento de la ley a la vivienda y recolectar cosas personales.
The defendant shall not own or possess any firearms, weapons, or ammunition.
El acusado no debe de tener posesión o mantener lo que es armas de fuego, munición o cualquier otra arma.
If the defendant has any in his possession, he must surrender them to the Orange County Sheriff's Office within 24 hours.
Si el acusado tiene algunas de ellas en su posesión, él mismo debe de presentarlas a lo que es a la oficina del alguacil al condado de Orange dentro de las próximas 24 horas.
He must provide the receipt to PTR.
Él debe de presentar un recibo a PTR.
While he's on PTR, he cannot possess or consume any alcohol, illegal substances, or prescriptions that don't have his name on them.
Mientras que él está bajo PTR, él no puede consumir o usar alcohol, cualquier sustancia ilegal o cualquier medicamento recetado que no tenga el nombre de él.
Best of luck to you, sir. Good luck to you, ma'am.
Buena suerte a usted. Buena suerte, señora.
Thank you, Mr. Interpreter. We appreciate your assistance.
You're welcome. Thank you for your SENA services and have a nice day.
All right, sir, could you please state your name for the record?
Cameron Barnett.
All right, Mr. Barnett, I understand that you have 3 failure to appear felony warrants in case number 2022 CF 4518, count one, your bond was set at $1,500. Count two, it was set at $250, and count three, it was set at $250. That's one case, just three counts, not three separate cases. So those bonds are going to remain as previously set. I understand you have a new case, which is case number 2022 CF 9744, possession of meth. Your bond was set at $1,000, and it will remain so. Good luck to you, sir. Oh, wait. I also have 2021 CF 7582. There was also a failure to appear in that case. Bond was set at no bond in that case, and it will remain so.
Your Honor, what was that case number? I didn't have that one.
2021. Oh, you know what? Wait. Same last name, different first name. There we go. Sorry about that, sir. Didn't mean to cause the heart attack. All right, Terry Barnett. All right, could you state your name for the record?
Terry Barnett.
All right, Mr. Barnett, you are the one that has the no bond in case number 2021 CF 7582, and that will remain as previously set. Good luck to you, sir. Felicia Fordyce, could you state your name for the record?
Felicia Fordyce.
All right, Ms. Fordyce, you've been charged with possession of drug paraphernalia. Your bond was set at $500, and that's in case number 2022 MM5661. It will remain so. In case number 20, nope, same first name, different last name. Take care, ma'am. Or is it the same? Yeah. Oh, come back. It's got a different last name, though.
The AKA is listed as Fordyce.
Ah, there we go. All right. Sorry. I'm having trouble with names on these last ones. I want to make sure I get them right. In case number 2021 CF 14812, there is a failure to appear. Your bond was set at no bond, and it will remain so. Good luck to you. Nicholas Gibson. Could you please state your name for the record?
Nicholas Franklin Gibson, ma'am.
All right, sir, you've been charged in case number 2022 CF 9734 with possession of methamphetamine. Your bond was set at $1,000. Count two, possession of drug paraphernalia. Your bond was set at $100. And count three, resisting an officer with violence. Your bond was set at $150, and it will remain so. Good
Your
luck
Honor,
to
if
you,
I may?
sir. Yes?
Your Honor, there's no probable cause for resisting with. I don't know if that was an officer mistake, because in the body of the report, it states resisting without.
Yeah, without. Yes, ma'am.
And
State?
No objection to amending the charge to resisting officer without violence.
And the court will reduce the bond to $100.
thank you, Your Honor.
Counsel?
I'll double check right now.
The statute number is different. It's a difference between a felony and a misdemeanor statute number. I can.
Third, resisting officer is without violence now, and so it's reduced from 150 to 100. Thanks for checking.
Your Honor, the statute number is 843.02.
Thank you.
Thank you, defense.
Anything else we need to go over for Mr. Gibson?
No, Your Honor. But just so that the court is aware, I would like to be heard on this next one.
Thanks for the heads up. All right. ahead and summarize the paperwork I have, and then you can let me know what you want to be heard on.
Well, Your Honor, I'm not sure how you want to do it because I have probable cause challenges on all but one of an unoccupied conveyance. And it doesn't really matter which ones we choose because all the reports are the same.
All right, so, sir, can you go ahead and state your name?
Tremaine Gooden.
All right. So I understand in case number 2022 CF 9733 that you are charged with fleeing and eluding a law enforcement officer with sirens and lights activated. Based on the nature of that charge, your bond was set at no bond. This is an over-a-line arrest, and then there are, did I count them right? I think 4 other cases, one in which he's charged with burglary of an unoccupied conveyance unarmed, and his bond was set at $3,500. The second is for the same charge, bond was set at $3,500.
Your Honor, I believe he has 9 total cases.
Thank you. Then another one for the same bond amount. Another one that was resisting an officer, fleeing and eluding with lights and sirens activated, and that was set at no bond. Another one that was burglary of an unoccupied conveyance, unarmed, and bond was set at $3,500. Another burglary of an unoccupied conveyance, and bond was set at $3,500. Another one that was burglary of an unoccupied conveyance, and bond was set at $3,500. Another one, and that's it that I have. Did I get them all?
And how many did you have, Your Honor?
I had the 2022 CF 973, that is the fleeing and eluding. And then I had eight other cases that were over-the-line arrests. All of those were burglary of an unoccupied conveyance unarmed, except one that was also a resisting officer eluding law enforcement with lights and sirens activated.
Okay.
What would you like me to know, counsel?
Your Honor, we would argue that there's no probable cause for any of the burglary of an unoccupied structure with the exception of one. The reason for that being, the witness states that he saw 2 black males pulling on handles down his street, and he saw him enter his vehicle. He didn't give any description of the other vehicles that he saw. We don't know if this is the person that was in these other vehicles that they're stating. So the defense takes the position that there's only probable cause for the one at this current moment.
State would agree with that assertion, and we would just ask that a reasonable bond be set on the one charge, and he can be ROR'd to the remaining 7, or 6? The remaining.
I'm still kind of confused on how many cases we have.
Yeah.
There's one Orange County case.
Uh-huh.
That's the fleeing and eluding 2022 CF 9733.
Yes, I have 2 fleeing and eluding cases.
I have 2 as well.
Okay.
But only one that's an Orange County case.
Oh.
So 9 altogether.
Yes. Okay.
The remainder are all burglary of an unoccupied conveyance unarmed, except for one that is fleeing and eluding. So there's 2 fleeing and eluding.
Mm-hmm.
One's in Orange County, one's an over-the-line arrest. And then the remainder are the burglary of an unoccupied conveyance.
So we have 7 of the burglary of the unoccupied. That's what I have.
Those are
Right.
all Osceola,
Yes.
so we don't have to do any, I'm confused, do we?
Welcome to our world. They're still within the Ninth Circuit. You're the state attorney for the, assistant state attorney for the Ninth Circuit. And it's my understanding that you're representing that you want to ROR on all of the burglary with a conveyance.
As the affidavit is read, we would ask that one of the burglaries stand and he be given bond for that. And then we would not object to ROR on the remaining burglaries of an unoccupied dwelling.
And the defense would be in agreement with that.
Which one?
Pick which one.
All right. They all have different agency numbers, agency case numbers. So we'll go with the first one. Yeah, so I just say we go with that first agency case number. All right, so for agency case number 22 IO 88982, you're requesting a reasonable bond on that one, correct?
Let me find that number. Okay. Agency case number. I have court case number 22 CF 9739 first in my printout.
We can do that one.
Is that the one that's first? I'm sorry.
I have that case number as well.
Okay.
Which one do you have?
We both have 22 CF 9739.
That case number was not properly assigned because it's an over-the-line arrest. That's why we were going by the agency number.
Okay. I now have found the agency number. Which agency number?
The one that we had been discussing, I'll pick any one you can find. But I just pulled the first one that I had, which ends in 82.
Okay.
Okay.
I have that one.
I'm
But if you want to pick
No.
4-7,
We can
or
go with
you wanna
8-2. We can
pick-
go with 8-2.
Or you want to pick 8-4, we could do that.
Okay, I have found 8-2.
All right. So you're asking for a reasonable bond on this one?
Yes.
For the burglary of the conveyance?
Yes.
All right.
And Your Honor, if I may,
Mm-hmm.
we would ask for that bond to be lowered from the 3,500 based off the fact that this is a nonviolent offense.
And it's my understanding that he does not qualify for PTR. All right. Court will go ahead and set bond on agency case number 22 IO 88982 in the amount of $1,000 with the condition of no return to the scene of the alleged incident, do not possess any firearms, ammunition, or weapons, and do not consume any alcohol, illegal substances, or prescriptions that don't have your name on it. He will be RO'd on the remainder of the over-the-line arrests related to burglary of an unoccupied conveyance unarmed, but with the, we'll just do ROR though. But we need to address the agency case number that ends in 9-1, because that's the resisting, there's 2 resisting officers by fleeing and eluding.
And Your Honor, the defense would ask for reasonable bonds to be set in those cases.
So we'll deal with the one that has an Orange County case number first. That's 22 CF 9733 AO Bond will be set in that case at $5,000 with all the standard terms and conditions as announced in the burglary of a conveyance.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, could you repeat that?
Bond will be set in the amount of $5,000 in 2022 CF 9733 with all the same conditions as I announced in the burglary of the conveyance one.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, and then we have, hopefully you've had time to find it, the agency case number that ends in 91. That is also a fleeing and eluding law enforcement with lights and sirens activated. That one will be set at $5,000 as well with all the same conditions as set forth in the burglary of the conveyance case. Anything further from the state?
I just want to say the criminal history indicated that there were a couple of failure to appears on traffic issues. We just ask that he stay in contact with his attorney and please show up if you do bond out.
She's not gonna be here.
All right. Graham Kennedy?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Sir, could you state your name for the record?
Julian Michael Graham Kennedy.
All right, sir, you've been charged with possession of cocaine. Your bond was set at $500. My understanding is he does qualify for PTR, is that correct? Does he, just straight PTR? All right, court will go ahead and order pretrial release. Do you have standard conditions that you put on all of those, or do you need me to announce each one? What's the standard ones? Oh, yeah. Do you automatically do that, or only if the judge announces it? All right. So you cannot possess any firearms, weapons, or ammunition. You cannot possess or consume any alcohol, illegal substances, or prescriptions that don't have your name on it. If you have any firearms, you need to surrender those to the Orange County Sheriff's Office within 24 hours, and you need to give your receipt for that to PTR. Good luck to you.
Thank
Green,
Yes.
could you please state your name for the record?
Andre Lee Green.
All right, Mr. Green, you've been charged with open carry of weapons or firearms. Your bond was set at $100. Possession of cocaine, your bond was set at $1,000, and possession of drug paraphernalia, your bond was set at $100. It's my understanding he qualifies for pretrial release. Okay. Straight up with no bond. All right, court will go ahead and order pretrial release. Yep. You cannot possess any firearms or weapons. You need to turn those in to the Orange County Sheriff's Office within 24 hours and get a receipt and give that to PTR. You cannot consume or possess any alcohol, illegal substances, or prescriptions that don't have your name on it. Good luck to you. Gutierrez? Sir, could you state your name for the record?
Carlos Gutierrez.
All right, sir, you've been charged with possession of cannabis. Your bond was set at $1,000. You do not qualify for PTR. Defense or state, anything I need to know?
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
Bond will remain as previously set. Good luck to you, sir. Kevin Holmes?
Your Honor, may I be heard on this case?
Sure, right after I announce it. Sir, can you go ahead and state your name for the record?
Kevin Holmes.
All right, Mr. Holmes, in case number 2022 CF 9729, you have 5 counts. Possession of meth, and your bond was set at $7,500. Destruction of evidence, your bond was set at $150. And then you have 3 charges: possession of cannabis, possession of drug paraphernalia, and tampering with physical evidence. For counts 3 and 4, your bond was set at $100, and for the last count, tampering with physical evidence, your bond was set at $150. Just so everyone is on the same page, it's also my understanding that he is out on bond in case number 2021 CF 9800 and case number 2021 CF 14366. What did you want me to know?
There's a couple of things that I want to address. I can address the cases that he's out on bond for first. Those cases are currently in capias status. The capias does have no bond on it, so I don't know the logistics on if you revoke his bond, what that's going to do with the capias. If it will recall the capias, then I'm not going to have any objection, but if it's going to mess that up, then I would ask that no action be taken. I think it would be in his best interest to go ahead and have that executed, but I just don't know logistically, since it's already in capias status, what that's going to do.
Okay.
As far as the current case that we're here for, we would ask for the court to ROR on the possession of cannabis less than 20 grams because the state of Florida is not prosecuting. And we also take the position that there's no probable cause for the charge of destruction of evidence. The officer is assuming that something fell out of the bag when it was thrown. He specifically uses the language presumably because he does not know whether anything came out of the bag onto the ground or not.
State?
The state's position that the act of throwing the bag was to destroy evidence, and since the evidence can't be found, I guess it worked. But as far as that charge goes, there would be no objection to an ROR if the court finds no probable cause.
And Your Honor, as to probable cause, I could be mistaken, but I believe there were drugs in the bag. The officer's just presuming that some of the drugs fell out.
All right, as to count 1, bond will remain stayed at $7,500. As to count 2, the court will ROR on that, as well as count 3. Count 4 will remain at 100, and count 5 will be reduced to 100.
Your Honor, if I may?
Mm-hmm.
With the court considering lowering the $7,500 bond, I believe this is a simple possession of methamphetamine, and that, if I'm not wrong, is higher than the bond schedule.
Court's gonna leave it at that number right
Yes, Your Honor.
now. PTR clerks, what do you want to, what about the concern regarding?
So you're at
Those are already PTR, do you know? So the defendant's attorney raised the issue that the 2 cases he's out on bond in
because of this.
already have capiases on them. And so if I revoke the bond, what does that do to the capias? Or is he going to be served with the capias today? State, are you trying to figure that out
Yes.
too?
Yes, I am.
Are we able to confirm that there are capiases in both those cases?
Your Honor,
I can look up the case.
if you pull it up on clerks, it shows it's on capias status. That's how I found out. We would ask for no action to be taken, and then if he hasn't bonded out tomorrow, because warrants are served Monday through Friday, then the warrant will be served on him tomorrow. Or it should be served on him tomorrow.
Counsel, I'm not inclined to take no action on the bond. I am okay with resetting this for tomorrow.
If we want to reset it, I just don't want there to be any issues with,
Right.
with anything that's already there.
No, I think that's very proactive on your part. So, it's gonna be reset tomorrow as to the two bond issues.
Okay. For the judge to readdress.
Yep.
Thank
Because we only serve Monday through Friday. All right. Anything else we need to go over with Mr. Holmes? Seeing none. Lachey Jones?
I know. Yes, you have a bond. It shouldn't, but you have to go that way.
All right, could you please state your name for the record?
Lachey Jones.
All right, Ms. Jones, you've been charged with home invasion robbery. Based on the nature of the charges, your bond was set at no bond. Do the state or defense wish to be heard on this one?
What's the charge? When was this?
Just quickly, Your Honor, the defendant does have a history of burglary of a dwelling with a firearm, so that's one prior. And there are several arrests for similar instances, similar charges as this one. So we would just ask the court to take that into consideration when setting a bond.
Defense?
Your Honor, we just asked for a reasonable bond be set in this case.
Today, it's not the. It's for you.
It's a mistake.
Given the severity of the allegations and the contents of the affidavit, the court's gonna set bond at $25,000. Do not possess any firearms or weapons or ammunition. do not consume or possess any illegal substances, alcohol, or prescriptions that don't have your name on it. Good luck to you.
I'm sorry, what she said?
Brian Lopez. All right, sir, in case number 2020 CF 8289, it appears that you failed to appear at a court event. Your judge entered a capias. Count 1 was set at $5,000. Count 2 was set at $1,000, and those will remain the same. Good luck to you. Mac? Sir, could you state your name for the record?
Yes, my name is Jermichael Mack.
All right. Sir, you've been charged with trafficking in fentanyl, 28 grams or more. Your bond was set at $1 million. And unlawful use of a two-way communication device, your bond was set at $1,000.
Your Honor, I apologize. Can you repeat the bond for the first one?
$1 million. Bond will remain as previously set. Good luck to you, sir. McAdoo?
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, you've been charged with disorderly conduct. Your bond was set at $250. Is there anything I need to know?
No, ma'am.
State, defense?
No, Your Honor.
That was in case number 22 MO947. There's also case number 2022 CF1976 where where the defendant failed to appear. Count 1, the judge set the bond in the amount of $1,500, and count 2, $150. Those amounts are stayed. The court takes no action on those. Good luck to you, sir.
Thank you.
Larry Robinson. Sir, could you state your name for the record?
Larry Robinson.
All right, sir, you've been charged with DUI with 2 prior convictions. Your bond was set at $5,000.
Not today.
It is my understanding that he does qualify for PTR. Anything else, anything from the state or defense?
No, Your Honor.
Just for PTR real quick, is a scram monitor something y'all do, or, nope, never mind. That's all I needed.
All right, bond will be set at $500 plus the requirement of PTR. Sir, while you're on pretrial release, you cannot consume any alcohol or possess any alcohol, along with illegal substances and any prescriptions that don't have your name on them. You also can't possess any firearms, ammunitions, or weapons. Good luck to you, sir.
Sure.
Well, friend, Rosa Joanna's behavior.
It ain't gonna help.
$500.
500. Do you want me to take any action on Wilfred Rosa without her here? Or do you want me to reset it for tomorrow?
We can waive her appearance, Your Honor.
She's charged with battery on a person 65 years of age or older. Her bond was set at $3,500. She was also charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Her bond was set at $1,500. She does not qualify for PTR. Court's going to leave those in place at this time. Joseph?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, sir, could you state your name for the record?
My name is Joseph Sanford.
All right, sir, you've been charged with neglect of a child. Your bond has been set at $1,000. It is my understanding that you do not qualify for PTR. Bond will remain as previously set with the additional requirement that there is no contact with the alleged victim or the alleged victim's legal guardian or parent. and do not possess any firearms or weapons. Good luck to you, sir. Please state your name.
Michael McDonald.
All right, Mr. McDonald, you have a failure to appear in case number 2020 CT 419. Your judge in that case set your bond at $500 and it will be stayed at that amount. The court will not change it. Good luck to you.
All right, thank you.
Good afternoon, sir. Could you state your name for the record?
Daniel Poole.
Thank you. I have a Maynor Alberto Perez Dioncico. Yes. 22019-587. Thank you. All right, Mr. Poole, you have a failure to appear, capious, in case number 2022 CT 3604. Your judge in that case set your bond at $250 and it will be stayed at that amount. I'm not going to disturb it. Good luck to you, sir.
John Saunders, bonded, Your Honor.
Azula,
Azula Behavior, Your Honor.
would you like to handle that now or you want to reset for tomorrow?
We can waive that appearance, Your Honor.
He's been charged with assault. Bond was set at $250 and disorderly conduct. Bond was set at $250. He does not qualify for PTR. Bond will remain as previously set. Lisa Collins.
Hello,
Good afternoon. Could you state your name for the record?
Lisa Joe Collins.
You've been charged with possession of a grocery cart. Your bond was set at $500.
Your Honor, if I may? The state has given an offer in this case of an adjudication of guilt, credit for time served, and court costs. Is the court willing to take that at this time?
Yes. Ma'am, how do you plead?
No contest.
I'm sorry? How do you plead, ma'am?
Oh, sorry to hear you. No contest.
Okay. And do you accept the terms of the offer?
Yes.
Very well. Can we confirm the credit for time served?
Yeah, 2 days. And I just wanted to say, there was no address given specifically for a no return, but the publics involved will press charges if anything like this happens again. So I just want to give that as kind of like a warning
Card
that
incident.
that Publix is not happy that their shopping cart went missing, and they will press charges if something like this happens again.
Okay.
Take care, ma'am. The court costs, do you want a civil judgment or?
Please, Your Honor.
Civil judgment's fine. Could you please state your name?
Paul Costa.
Your Honor, the state has given an offer in this case as well, an adjudication of guilt, credit for time served, and court costs.
And what is his name?
Oh, I'm sorry, you didn't hear him?
Paul Costa.
Sir, you've been charged also with the possession of a grocery cart. Your bond was set at $500. What is the term of the plea?
It's an adjudication of guilt, credit for time served, and court costs, Your Honor.
Is a civil judgment?
Yes, please, Your Honor.
Sir, how do you plead to that?
No contest.
Do you agree to that offer?
Yes, ma'am.
Very well, it's done. Take care, sir.
Thank you.
Yes. The last two grocery cart cases.
Ricardo Montilla is medical, Your Honor.
Your Honor, can we reset that?
Yep. That one's reset. Medical.
Medical.
Man, you gotta be right. Can I breathe? breathe for a moment? Yes. I'm breathing for a moment so that Madam Clerk can catch up.
Okay,
Hold on one sec, yes,
after this one, can we take like 2 minutes?
yes.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Sir, could you state your name?
Christopher Sanchez.
All right, Mr. Sanchez, you've been charged with possession of cannabis. Your bond was set at $250. Anything you guys need me to know?
Your Honor, can we ROR this case since the state of Florida is not, prosecuting the possession of cannabis under 20 grams?
State, any objection?
No objection.
Very well. Good luck to you.
And Your Honor, we're.
Do we have Joseph Watson?
You wanted us to take 2 minutes now?
We have Watson Joseph, and then I can take 2 minutes. Yeah, basically, I have police for all of the city ordinances, and I want to go through all of them at the same time. I have Watson Joseph.
Was he done earlier?
Yeah. Your Honor, can we actually have about a 15-minute break? If we're gonna take it's, because we have 11 county ordinances left, and I'm haven't
Okay.
anything.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.